Today, we're going to dive into one of my favorite areas to hit in the gym, triceps.
One thing I won't do is let you tell me that I can't be great. Who gon' stop me now? Can't be great. Who gon' stop me now?
For today, I just want to focus on a few tricep exercises that you can integrate into whatever split you're already doing. Just adding a few little tweaks that'll really change things up a little bit and maybe show you the right form or make it a little more effective for you. Unfortunately, you'll see so many guys in the gym that focus on training their arms more than any other muscle group, especially legs. Don't neglect leg day. And they start looking a little bit ridiculous, a little top heavy, not a great look. Just remember, we're all about creating a healthy and balanced body and physique. So just focus on bringing up any of your weaker areas and turning them into your strengths, rather than just doing exercises and workouts that you really enjoy doing, like arm day. Before we jump into the workout, the simple concept to understand about training triceps, just like any other muscle group in the body, is that it's actually not just one single muscle. The triceps are composed of 3 different sections: the long head, the lateral head, and the medial head. And each one of them is responsible for slightly different motions in your arm. And that's actually why we have different exercises at different angles, etc., to target each of these different parts of your tricep. The long head of your tricep is the biggest part of the muscle and is literally long, thus the name. The origin is all the way in your scapula, and then it extends all the way down the bottom part of your arm down to the elbow. You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead movements and also by turning your palms outward, in a more supinated position. The lateral head is located more on the side of your arm, and it's the part that people think of as more of that horseshoe shape on the side. The medial head of your tricep is located mostly underneath your lateral head, so it isn't very visible from the surface. But your lateral and medial heads of your tricep can generally be targeted better by turning your hands inward or pronated, and also by pressing down motions. So as usual, make sure you're healthy enough to engage in any exercise program before starting anything like this. Make sure you have no existing health, heart, bone, or joint issues that could make exercise dangerous for you. And if you're good to go, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and leave a positive comment or question below. Okay, now that you did that, check your ego at the door and let's get started. So for our warm-up today, we're gonna do the tricep push-ups. And you could do 2 to 4 sets of these. There's many different ways to perform this. And to make this a little easier on yourself, you can also keep your knees down if you have to, or you can use a raised surface. And what that does, it also elevates your upper body and takes a little bit of the weight off. So in a traditional push-up, you typically keep your body in a straight line. Plank position, your body moves together, up and down. This one, you're gonna essentially keep your hips lower to the ground throughout the motion, and you're gonna be driving your upper body up by arching your back in each rep. And in doing so, you're gonna be having a little bit of a forward movement in your body, which you'll see with my feet. So this motion is actually gonna help keep your elbows in place and keep the focus on the triceps as opposed to any other part of your body, like your anterior deltoids or your chest. So the next one we're gonna do is called the French press or skull crushers. And it's one that so many people actually do, but they really don't understand the mechanics of it, and therefore they don't get the most out of this exercise. So the main purpose of doing skull crushers is to focus on the long head of the tricep. One of the best ways I find to do this is to use an easy curl bar, which kind of has a natural bend to it before it extends out. If you don't have access to an easy curl bar, not a problem at all. You can use dumbbells and accomplish the same exact thing, which I'll show you actually today, because somebody borrowed the easy curl bar from the gym here. So you can actually also mimic this motion with cables or resistance bands. And the way you want to do that is just sitting up instead. And it's the exact same thing, just seated with your back against the bench. So the way I recommend doing this is grab a bench, put it on a slight incline, 5 to 15 degrees up. You're gonna lay on your back, head slightly over the edge. And you're just gonna bring the bar or dumbbells back over your head. Elbows in, and you're gonna extend up, keeping your arm going at about a 45-degree angle. So your elbow is essentially the fulcrum for the motion, and your arm is just rotating around it. The reason why we're gonna have our arms stay at a 45-degree angle, a little bit up and behind us, rather than the traditional way you probably have tried it yourself or seen other people doing it, where you just extend straight up, think of how gravity works. At the peak contraction, the typical way people do it, you're basically just resting at the top. You're not putting any real strain on your triceps. Whereas if you have your arms at a 45-degree angle at the peak contraction, gravity's working against you. It is pushing that weight down on your tricep right there. That is gonna be where you're really gonna notice a big difference in this little tweak in the exercise. So the next exercise we're gonna go over is a really, really common one, but it's also rarely ever done properly. It's the tricep press down. I can't even tell you how many times I go to the gym and I see guys just murdering the form on this, lifting weights that are way too heavy for them, launching this, leveraging the weight down, and getting little to no benefit in their triceps whatsoever. So hopefully, if you're watching this video and you see the right form, you'll realize I'm talking about you, and you'll do this the right way so you don't injure yourself and you actually get something out of it. And while there's so many different ways that you can do this exercise properly in different variations, my personal favorite is using either a bent bar on a cable machine or using a straight bar. But once in a while, I also throw in the rope, which I think is a great tool as well because you can actually separate further at the bottom. End of the day, do whatever you feel the mind-muscle connection working best with, and whichever method you actually feel the most in your muscles when you're doing this exercise. So the form on this is really very simple. The way I do this, keep my knees a little bit bent, my back is straight, but I lean a little bit forward. My arms are straight out in front of me, elbows a little out in front. My upper arm stays static throughout the motion, and the entire movement just goes right around the elbow. Okay, with the elbow again as the fulcrum for the motion. So you want to pick a weight that you can do about 15 repetitions with in each set. And you probably want to go for about 3 or 4 sets on this. This is a volume exercise where you want to just push the weight, and that's going to help you really grow this part of your tricep. So for the last one we're gonna do today, again, there's so many different ways that you can do this exercise. It's overhead cable extensions. For today, we're gonna do it standing, where you're basically gonna use the cable machine or resistance bands. And again, the form is really simple on this one. Just like in the others that we talked about today, think of your arm as a lever, where your arms are staying nice and close. You're gonna lean forward, and you're gonna have your arms extended up and over, and you're just gonna drive your forearms out and around your elbow, and it's really gonna work. I guarantee you do about 15 reps, 3-4 sets of this, your arms are gonna be on fire, and you're really gonna feel this the next few days in a good way, okay? It's not gonna destroy you. You'll love the way that this really will build up your arms as a great way to finish off a tricep workout. As always, make sure you stretch out after doing any workout, and feel free to use a foam roller as well. So I know I've said this a few times already throughout the video, but if you haven't realized yet, you can do any one of these things using resistance bands at home, so you have absolutely no excuse not to do this. Just make sure you anchor it properly, whether it's in a door, a wall, or a beam or something. Not something that is movable and may let them go flying at you and hit you in the face. You won't like that too much. And by the way, if you haven't already done so, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, leave a nice little comment below, and share this with at least a couple people. I hope you guys are ready for what's coming next. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and don't forget to check your ego at the door. Have a great day. Today, we're gonna dive right into Today, we're gonna dive right into one of your favorite areas to take. You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead. Overhead? What? You typically target this part of the. Come on. You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead motions. Oh my God, why can't I say the right word? You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead movements. Oh my God, I suck. You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead. You typically target this part of the tricep with overhead motions.
Whoa, 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 whoa.